Q&A, Azure Event Hubs, Azure Event Grid and Azure Service Bus. 1. Question: what is the purpose of Azure Event Hubs? Answer: Azure Event Hubs is a big data streaming platform and event ingestion service that can handle millions of events per second, enabling you to process and analyze data in real time. 2. Question: what are consumer groups in Azure Event Hubs? Answer: consumer groups enable multiple consuming applications to each have a separate view of the event stream, and to read the stream independently at their own pace. 3. Question: can you partition an Azure Event Hub? Answer: yes. Event Hubs provides partitioning capabilities to enable data to be divided into smaller units known as partitions for better scalability and parallelism. 4. Question: what is Azure Event Grid designed for? Answer: Azure Event Grid is designed for building event-based architectures with a focus on event routing, filtering, and handling. 5. Question: what are event handlers in Azure Event Grid? Answer: event handlers are the endpoints that receive events from Event Grid. These could be Azure Functions, Logic Apps, or any other custom webhooks. 6. Question: is filtering supported in Azure Event Grid? Answer: yes. Azure Event Grid supports filtering of events based on subject prefix or suffix, as well as based on specific event types. 7. Question: what are topics and subscriptions in Azure Service Bus? Answer: topics and subscriptions provide a one-to-many form of communication, in a publish/subscribe pattern. Topics send messages to multiple subscriptions where each can optionally use a filter to receive only specific messages. 8. Question: what is the maximum size of a message in Azure Service Bus? Answer: the maximum message size for Azure Service Bus is 256 kilobytes for standard tier and 100 megabytes for the premium tier. 9. Question: what are dead letter queues in Azure Service Bus? Answer: dead letter queues hold messages that can't be delivered or processed. This helps in troubleshooting and ensures that messages are not lost. 10. Question: what is capture in Azure Event Hubs? Answer: capture feature allows you to automatically save the incoming event data to Azure Blob Storage or Azure Data Lake Storage for archival or later batch processing. 11. Question: what is the retention period for events in Azure Event Hubs? Answer: the retention period for events in Azure Event Hubs can be set from 1 to 7 days. 12. Question: what is throughput unit in Azure Event Hubs? Answer: a throughput unit, 2, defines the amount of data and the number of events that can be transferred through Event Hubs. 1.2 is capable of handling up to 1 megabyte per second ingress and 2 megabytes per second egress. 13. Question: how does Azure Event Grid differ from Azure Event Hubs? Answer: while Event Hubs are designed for high throughput of data and telemetry streams, Event Grid is optimized for event-based solutions and routing. 14. Question: what are custom topics in Azure Event Grid? Answer: custom topics are user-defined endpoints that your application can publish events to. They can be used to filter and route events beyond what's supported by Azure native event sources. 15. Question: what are Azure Event Grid domains? Answer: Event Grid domains are essentially a management layer for Event Grid topics, making it easier to organize and manage large sets of topics for bigger event-based architectures. 16. Question: what is peak lock mode in Azure Service Bus? Answer: peak lock mode allows a message to be read without removing it from the queue. This is useful for scenarios where the processing of messages needs to be transactional. 17. Question: what is auto-delete in Azure Service Bus? Answer: auto-delete is a feature that automatically removes a message from the queue after a specified period, whether it's processed or not. 18. Question: is batching supported in Azure Service Bus? Answer: yes. Azure Service Bus supports message batching to improve performance by combining multiple messages into a single transmission. 19. Question: how does Event Hubs handle back pressure? Answer: Event Hubs manage back pressure through automatic throttling when the ingress or egress rate exceeds the number of throughput units allocated. 20. Question: can Azure Event Hubs integrate with Azure Stream Analytics? Answer: yes. Azure Event Hubs can be easily integrated with Azure Stream Analytics to perform real-time data stream processing. 21. Question: what types of data can Azure Event Hubs ingest? Answer: Azure Event Hubs can ingest any type of event data, such as telemetry streams, log files, and user activity data. 22. Question: can Azure Event Grid deliver events to Azure Functions? Answer: yes. Azure Functions is one of the supported event handlers that can be triggered by an event in Event Grid. 23. Question: is it possible to manually acknowledge events in Azure Event Grid? Answer: no. Event Grid follows an at least once delivery guarantee and automatically retries failed deliveries. 24. Question: what are the built-in Azure services that can publish to Event Grid? Answer: Azure services like Azure Blob Storage, Azure Resource Groups, and Azure Event Hubs are among the services that can publish events to Event Grid. 25. Question: what is the maximum time to live (TTL) for a message in Azure Service Bus? Answer: in Azure Service Bus, you can set the TTL up to a maximum of 7 days. 26. Question: how is security managed in Azure Service Bus? Answer: security in Azure Service Bus is managed through Shared Access Signatures (SAS) and Azure Active Directory. 27. Question: can Azure Service Bus operate in a hybrid configuration? Answer: yes. Azure Service Bus can be set up in a hybrid configuration to extend your on-premises applications into the Azure cloud. 28. Question: what is Event Hub namespace? Answer: an Event Hub namespace serves as a container for one or more Event Hubs, offering an endpoint for clients to connect to. 29. Question: is encryption supported in Azure Event Hubs? Answer: yes. Azure Event Hubs support Azure managed keys for encryption at rest, and it also supports SSL/TLS for encrypting data in transit. 30. Question: can Azure Event Hubs integrate with Azure Databricks? Answer: yes. Azure Event Hubs can be integrated with Azure Databricks for real-time analytics and batch processing. 31. Question: what are the core components of Azure Event Grid? Answer: the core components include event publishers, event topics, event subscriptions, and event handlers. 32. Question: does Azure Event Grid have any rate limits? Answer: yes. Azure Event Grid has various rate limits, which differ depending on the tier and the type of operation. 33. Question: how does Azure Event Grid ensure reliable event delivery? Answer: Azure Event Grid provides an at least once delivery guarantee and supports exponential backoff for event delivery retries. 34. Question: can you schedule messages in Azure Service Bus? Answer: yes. Azure Service Bus allows you to schedule messages to appear in the queue at a later time. 35. Question: what is a session in Azure Service Bus? Answer: a session is a sequence of related messages that are handled in a particular order by the service bus. 36. Question: how can you monitor Azure Service Bus? Answer: you can monitor Azure Service Bus through Azure Monitor, which provides metrics, logs, and alerts for your Service Bus instances. 37. Question: what is a producer in the context of Azure Event Hubs? Answer: a producer is an entity that sends events to an event hub. These can be devices, sensors, or application instances. 38. Question: Can you configure Azure Event Hubs to work with Apache Kafka? Answer: yes. Azure Event Hubs offers a Kafka interface that allows it to integrate with Kafka-based solutions seamlessly. 39. Question: what is the role of an epoch in Azure Event Hubs? Answer: an epoch is used for consumer group-based concurrency control. It allows a specific consumer to take precedence over other consumers in the same group. 40. Question: what is Event Grid's fan-out capability? Answer: fan-out is the ability of Event Grid to send an event to multiple endpoints or handlers simultaneously. 41. Question: what types of filtering does Azure Event Grid support? Answer: Azure Event Grid supports prefix and suffix filtering, as well as event type-based filtering. 42. Question: can you secure Azure Event Grid using Azure Policy? Answer: yes. Azure Event Grid supports Azure Policy for enforcing organization-specific requirements. 43. Question: what is the Geo-disaster recovery feature in Azure Service Bus? Answer: Geo-disaster recovery allows for the pairing of two namespaces to facilitate a more seamless recovery in case of a regional Azure outage. 44. Question: what types of transactions are supported by Azure Service Bus? Answer: Azure Service Bus supports local transactions within the scope of a single messaging operation, but it does not support distributed transactions. 45. Question: what are the costs associated with using Azure Service Bus? Answer: costs for Azure Service Bus depend on the tier, basic, standard, or premium, and are based on factors like message size, message volume, and additional features like sessions or duplicate detection. 46. Question: what are consumer groups in Azure Event Hubs? Answer: consumer groups define the view of an event stream from which consumers read. They allow multiple consuming applications to each have a separate view of the event stream. 47. Question: is Azure Active Directory, Azure AD, integration possible with Azure Event Hubs? Answer: yes. Azure Event Hubs support Azure AD-based identity for authentication and authorization. 48. Question: can I send messages to Azure Event Hubs using REST API? Answer: yes. Azure Event Hubs provide REST API endpoints to send events into the hub. 49. Question: what is the dead letter location in Azure Event Grid? Answer: the dead letter location is where Event Grid sends undeliverable messages. It's a user-defined storage location. 50. Question: how do you authenticate event publishing in Azure Event Grid? Answer: event publishing can be authenticated using either shared access signatures, SAS, or key authentication. Thanks for watching.